There's a small house at the end of Rose Hill Lane, with chipped white paint and a garden that once bloomed like a poem. An old woman named Eleanor lives there. She's 84, nearly blind in one eye, and spends her mornings on the porch reading the same letter over and over again. The letter is yellowed, folded 100 times, and never sent. Every passerby just sees an old lady stuck in the past. But that letter, it holds a story that never got told. Let me take you back to 1959. Eleanor was 18, brilliant, and full of fire. She played piano barefoot, ran through rainstorms without an umbrella, and believed that life was meant to be felt, not controlled. That summer, she met James Quiet, kind-eyed James, who worked in the bookshop by the sea. They didn't fall in love quickly. No, theirs was the kind of love that sneaks up on you. A love that starts with shared glances, mutual silences, and words left unsaid. James wrote poetry in the margins of second-hand novels. Eleanor read them like sacred scripture. He'd lend her books with underlined sentences that said everything he was too shy to speak. They spent every afternoon together, sometimes talking, sometimes just listening to the waves. And one evening, under a crescent moon, he kissed her hand and said, "You make the world feel less heavy. But life doesn't wait for love to catch up." Eleanor received a letter. She had been accepted to a music conservatory in Paris. It was everything she had worked for. But it meant leaving everything she loved behind. The night before she left, she wrote James a letter. In it, she poured everything she had never dared to say out loud. "I love you. I think I always have. I'm terrified of leaving you, but more terrified of never knowing what I could become. I don't ask you to wait for me. But if one day you ever find this letter, know that you were my beginning." She planned to leave it inside his favorite book, tucked behind the counter at the shop. But when she walked there, suitcase in hand, she saw him laughing with another girl, someone new, someone who looked like she wasn't planning on leaving. Eleanor turned around. She didn't leave the letter. She left town instead. She never returned. Not to James, not to that summer, only in memories. She went on to live in accomplished life, concert halls, standing ovations, cities she couldn't pronounce. But never love, not the kind that stayed, not the kind that left poetry in books. Now, in that small house on Rose Hill Lane, she reads the letter she never sent. And one rainy afternoon, a young woman knocked on her door. She introduced herself as Ava. "My grandfather used to talk about you," she said, handing her an old book. "He told me to give you this if I ever found you." Inside was a dried rose and a note scribbled in shaky handwriting. "I waited, maybe not the way I should have. But you were always the one." Eleanor laughed, then cried, then laughed again. Because even after all those years, some stories wait. Some love letters, even unsent, still find their way home.